Clay soil? No worries. Top 12 perennial flowers that thrive in tough soil. Hello friends and welcome back to Earthly Delights. If you've ever stood in your yard, trowel in hand, and thought, why does my soil feel like sticky clay no matter what I do? You're not alone. Many of you watching are everyday gardeners, people who love the idea of filling your space with flowers. Whether you're tending a small backyard, a suburban plot, or even experimenting with containers on a patio. You're not professionals with endless time or money. You're real people who juggle work, family, and the dream of a garden that feels alive. And yet, clay soil often feels like it's fighting against you. Too wet in spring, too hard in summer, and it leaves you wondering if beauty can really grow here. But here's the secret I've learned after years of trial and error. Clay soil is not your enemy. It's simply a different kind of foundation. In fact, some of the toughest, most breathtaking perennials don't just survive in clay, they thrive in it. Today, we're going to explore 12 flowers that will transform your heavy soil into a canvas of color and life. So if you've been feeling stuck or discouraged, stay with me, because this journey might change how you see your garden forever. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Earthly Delights. That way, you'll never miss out on practical, inspiring tips to help you nurture the garden you've always dreamed of. Part 1, the survivors turn thrivers. When most flowers give up in heavy clay, a few champions rise above the struggle. These are the perennials that not only survive the sticky, stubborn soil, but actually turn it into their stage for bold color and resilience. In this part, we'll meet 3 of the toughest bloomers that prove clay soil can be the beginning of beauty, not the end. 1. Aster, the late-season star. Let's begin with the aster, a flower that proves clay soil doesn't have to limit your garden's beauty. Asters are like the grand finale of summer, bursting into violet, lavender, and pink shades just when most other blooms are fading away. If you've ever wished your garden could hold on to its color a little longer, asters are your answer. They thrive in clay because their strong roots can handle the density, and they love the steady moisture that clay often provides. Gardeners who plant asters quickly notice they aren't just for show. These flowers are magnets for pollinators. Bees and butterflies crowd around them, bringing your garden to life with movement and sound. And here's a pro tip. If you pinch back their stems in early summer, you'll get more compact plants and an even more dramatic late-season display. Imagine your garden in September when neighbors think the season is over, and suddenly your borders light up with fresh waves of color. That's the magic of asters, true survivors that thrive in tough soil. 2. Black-eyed Susan, the sunshine spirit. Next up is the black-eyed Susan, a flower that feels like pure sunshine growing right out of tough clay. With their golden yellow petals and dark contrasting centers, these cheerful blooms light up any border or meadow-style garden. If you're someone who wants easy beauty without constant fuss, black-eyed Susans are your friend. They're remarkably adaptable, and clay soil gives them the sturdy base they need to spread and return year after year. What makes them even more special is their long bloom season, stretching from early summer well into fall, keeping your garden alive with color when many others have faded. They're also a gift to pollinators. Butterflies, bees, and even birds come flocking to them. And while they can spread quickly, they do it in a way that fills gaps and strengthens your garden's overall design rather than taking over. Think of them as the reliable optimists of your flower bed, always showing up, always bright, always bringing joy. Plant a patch of black-eyed Susans, and you'll have a garden that never stops smiling back at you. 3. Yarrow, the resilient beauty. Now let's turn to yarrow, a perennial that proves toughness and elegance can live side by side. If you've struggled with plants that wilt under summer heat or collapse in heavy clay, yarrow will surprise you. Its deep roots handle dense soil with ease, and its fern-like silvery foliage adds a soft texture that contrasts beautifully with stronger leaves around it. When summer arrives, yarrow sends up clusters of flat-top flowers in golden yellow, pink, red, or even white, depending on the variety. These blooms last for weeks, creating a carpet of color that feels almost effortless. Yarrow is also highly drought-tolerant once established, making it perfect for gardeners who can't always water every day. Beyond beauty, it's practical. The flowers are wonderful in fresh arrangements and dry perfectly for crafts or decor. And pollinators love it. Expect butterflies to dance across the blooms on sunny afternoons. With yarrow, you don't just get a survivor for clay soil. You get a flower that transforms struggle into resilience and turns the hardest corners of your garden into vibrant, living art. Part 2. The bold architects of structure. Every garden needs anchors, plants that give height, depth, and a sense of design. In clay soil, structure matters even more because strong roots and sturdy stems are what allow flowers to truly thrive. In this part, we'll explore perennials that don't just add color, but also shape and drama. These are the bold architects, plants that turn your heavy soil into the foundation for lasting beauty. 4. Baptisia. The deep-rooted pioneer, Baptisia, often called false indigo, is one of the most dependable perennials you can plant in clay soil. Native to the American prairies, it has a root system designed to push through dense, compacted earth, making it a true pioneer for tough gardens. In late spring, Baptisia puts on a spectacular show with lupine-like spires of deep blue flowers, though newer varieties now bloom in soft yellows, whites, and even purples. These vibrant blossoms bring a refined elegance to your borders, but the beauty doesn't stop when the petals fade. Baptisia forms decorative seed pods that blacken as summer progresses, adding interest through autumn and even into winter. They rattle in the breeze like nature's own wind chimes. Once established, Baptisia is virtually maintenance-free. It doesn't need staking, it rarely suffers from pests, and it thrives on neglect. For busy gardeners, that's a gift. Think of Baptisia as the plant that works hard behind the scenes, digging deep into clay while giving your garden a presence that feels timeless, grounded, and full of quiet strength. 5. Ironweed. The purple powerhouse. If you're looking for a flower that brings both strength and bold beauty to your clay soil garden, ironweed is the one to watch. True to its name, this perennial is tough as iron, standing tall even through the hottest days of summer. Its deep, sturdy roots grip tightly into heavy clay, while its upright stems can reach impressive heights, making it a natural backdrop for your borders. Come late summer, when many plants start to fade, ironweed bursts into clusters of brilliant purple blooms that are impossible to ignore. These blossoms don't just add a splash of color, they become a magnet for butterflies, turning your garden into a lively stage of fluttering wings. Gardeners love ironweed not only for its resilience, but also for the drama it adds to the landscape. Its commanding presence creates depth and structure, pairing beautifully with softer, low-growing plants at the front. Once planted, it requires little fuss, no staking, minimal watering, and dependable returns year after year. Ironweed is the kind of flower that proves clay soil can hold both strength and elegance in perfect balance. 6. Joe Pye weed, the gentle giant. Few plants command attention in a clay soil garden quite like Joe Pye weed. Towering up to 6 or even 7 feet tall, this perennial creates a natural focal point that feels both wild and graceful. In mid to late summer, it produces huge domes of mauve pink flowers that seem to float above its sturdy stems, adding softness despite its size. What makes Joe Pye weed especially valuable for gardeners with clay soil is its love for consistent moisture, exactly what clay often holds. Rather than fighting soggy conditions, this plant thrives in them, turning tricky patches into lush displays. It's also a magnet for pollinators. Butterflies, bees, and even hummingbirds gather in clouds around its blossoms, making your garden feel alive and buzzing with energy. Despite its stature, Joe Pye weed is surprisingly easygoing. It requires little beyond cutting back in late fall, and year after year it comes back stronger, forming a commanding clump that anchors your garden. For anyone who wants to transform a heavy, damp corner into a pollinator's paradise, Joe Pye weed is the gentle giant you'll be glad you planted. Part 3. The pollinator magnets. A thriving garden isn't just about what you see, it's also about what you hear and feel. The gentle buzz of bees, the quick flutter of hummingbirds, the graceful dance of butterflies, all signs of a healthy, balanced space. And in clay soil, certain perennials shine as irresistible magnets for pollinators. In this part, we'll uncover the flowers that turn heavy ground into a lively sanctuary filled with color, fragrance, and motion. 7. Bee balm, the wild fireworks. Bee balm, or monarda, is one of those flowers that feels like a celebration in the garden. Its shaggy, firework-like blooms burst into shades of red, pink, lavender, and purple, right in the heart of summer, creating a display that's bold and full of life. For gardeners struggling with clay soil, bee balm is a blessing. Its roots adapt well to dense earth, and once it's established, it fills out quickly. What makes this plant so unforgettable is the way it draws wildlife. Stand near a patch of bee balm, and you'll see hummingbirds darting from bloom to bloom, bees buzzing with purpose, and butterflies floating gracefully among the flowers. It doesn't just add beauty, it creates an ecosystem. The leaves also release a spicy, minty fragrance when brushed, adding another sensory layer to your garden. Do keep in mind that bee balm can spread vigorously, so give it room or plant it where you don't mind it taking charge. With its brilliant colors, lively visitors, and resilience in clay, bee balm isn't just a flower. It's pure summer energy rooted in your backyard. 8. Goldenrod, the sunshine of late summer. When your garden starts to look tired at the end of summer, goldenrod steps in like a burst of sunlight. This perennial thrives in clay soil, sending up strong stems topped with glowing yellow flower spikes that brighten borders, meadows, and even wild corners. Far from being a hit to the weeds some mistake it for, goldenrod is actually a pollinator powerhouse. Bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects flock to it, creating a living cloud of movement around its blooms. It's also wonderfully adaptable. Some varieties grow tall and dramatic, reaching 5 feet, while compact cultivars like Crown of Rays stay neat and manageable in smaller spaces. Clay soil, with its ability to hold moisture, gives goldenrod the foundation it needs to thrive without extra care. Another hidden gift? Goldenrod flowers make excellent cut stems, bringing the warmth of late summer indoors. For gardeners who want a low-maintenance plant that bridges the seasons and adds both beauty and biodiversity, goldenrod proves that even the toughest soil can shine golden. Its resilience and radiance rolled into one sturdy perennial. 9. Purple coneflower, the prairie classic. Few flowers embody resilience like the purple coneflower, also known as echinacea. Native to the prairies and woodlands of North America, this perennial has evolved to handle poor, heavy soils with ease, making clay an ideal match. Its daisy-like blooms with bold, raised centers appear in midsummer, painting your garden in shades of purple, pink, and thanks to modern hybrids, even orange, red, or white. Beyond their beauty, these flowers are true wildlife champions. Bees and butterflies gather during the day, while goldfinches arrive later to feast on the seeds. In fact, leaving the dried flower heads through winter not only feeds birds, but also adds striking silhouettes against snow or frost. Coneflowers are wonderfully forgiving. Once established, they tolerate heat, drought, and neglect, returning stronger each year. For busy gardeners, that reliability is priceless. Imagine a cluster of coneflowers swaying in the breeze, glowing against your clay soil, while life of every kind gathers around them. They're not just garden ornaments. They're anchors of color, community, and endurance that prove clay soil can nurture timeless beauty. Part 4, the shade and contrast artist. Not every corner of your garden basks in full sun, and clay soil in shaded spots can feel especially challenging. But even in those dimmer spaces, beauty is possible. Some perennials are masters of contrast, thriving where others struggle and turning shade into a lush retreat. In this part, we'll explore plants that bring texture, foliage, drama, and unexpected splashes of color to your clay soil garden's quieter corners. 10. Hostas, the foliage royalty. When it comes to shade and clay soil, few plants perform with as much grace as hostas. Known as the royalty of foliage, hostas transform dim, heavy-soiled corners into lush retreats with their broad, textured leaves. They come in an incredible range of shapes and shades, from deep blue-greens to vibrant chartreuse and striking, variegated patterns edged in cream or white. One standout, the Patriot hosta, offers dramatic contrast with its bold green centers and crisp white edges, making it look like living artwork. But hostas aren't just about foliage. In midsummer, Many varieties send up elegant spikes of lavender or white flowers, which add height and a soft fragrance to shaded beds. Clay soil often holds the moisture hostas love, helping them thrive with minimal fuss. They do best with a layer of mulch to keep their roots cool and to prevent the soil from drying out. Whether used as a ground cover, edging for shady pathways, or combined with ferns and astilbes, hostas bring texture, serenity, and a sense of timeless beauty to the toughest shady spots in your garden. 11. Daylilies, the effortless performers. If you've ever wished for a plant that thrives on neglect yet rewards you with waves of color, daylilies are your perfect match. These perennials are true clay soil survivors, with fleshy roots that anchor deeply and adapt to heavy, compact ground. Each bloom may last only a single day, hence the name, but don't be fooled. A healthy clump of daylilies can produce dozens of flower stalks, ensuring weeks of continuous color. The variety is staggering, from fiery reds and golden yellows to soft pastels and even near black shades. There's a daylily for every garden palette. What makes them so appealing to busy gardeners is their sheer resilience. They shrug off heat, tolerate drought once established, and resist most pests and diseases. Even in poor soil, they'll return stronger each year, spreading slowly into dependable clumps. Plant them along borders, in mass groupings, or as colorful accents in mixed beds, and they'll deliver impact without complaint. For anyone discouraged by stubborn clay soil, daylilies stand as proof that beauty can be effortless, reliable, and endlessly rewarding. 12. Coreopsis, the cheerful confetti. To complete our list, let's celebrate Coreopsis, a perennial that sprinkles joy across even the toughest clay soils. Known for its daisy-like flowers and brilliant yellows, and sometimes pinks or bicolors, Coreopsis is often described as a plant that looks like it's tossing confetti across the garden. Its blooms appear in abundance from early summer through fall, creating a carpet of cheerful color that refuses to fade. Clay soil actually gives Coreopsis the stability it needs, helping its dense clumps stand tall and flower generously. For gardeners who crave low-maintenance beauty, this perennial is a dream. Just a little deadheading keeps the show going, and it rarely suffers from pests or disease. Pair it with ornamental grasses or taller perennials like coneflowers for a dynamic mix of textures and heights. It also makes an excellent cut flower, bringing sunshine indoors. Imagine a border lined with Coreopsis, each flower a tiny burst of joy against the sturdiness of clay. It's proof that a humble, challenging soil can host one of the most carefree, radiant plants in the garden, turning clay into a canvas. So there you have it, 12 perennial flowers that don't just survive in clay soil, they flourish. From the late-season fireworks of asters to the towering strength of Joe Pye weed, from the golden sunshine of black-eyed Susans to the graceful foliage of hostas, each of these plants proves that clay isn't a curse, it's an opportunity. Where some gardeners see frustration, you can now see potential. Clay holds nutrients, it anchors strong roots, and with the right plant choices, it becomes the solid stage for a garden that's bursting with life, color, and resilience. And here's the truth, gardening is never about perfection. It's about working with what you have, learning along the way, and finding beauty in unexpected places. If you've been doubting whether your heavy soil can ever host the garden of your dreams, let these 12 perennials be your inspiration. With patience and a little care, they will reward you year after year, reminding you that nature always finds a way to bloom. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you already grow any of these clay-loving champions? Or are you planning to try one this season? Share your favorites in the comments below so we can learn from each other's gardens. And don't forget to subscribe to Earthly Delights for more practical tips, inspiring plant stories, and down-to-earth advice to help you grow a garden that truly thrives. Together, let's keep turning challenges into beauty, one plant at a time.